G'day folks, for this afternoon's little equipment inspection come partial autopsy. We have a smoke machine that a friend gave me. This one came from Leokimvideo, same bloke who donated the jet combustor and a bunch of other really cool stuff over time. Yeah, as you can see, there's more smoke coming from inside it than outside it because there was a bit of a spill during transit. It's still half full of liquid, so I'm just trying to get it to work, but again, as he said, it's actually blocked up, so it does create a tiny bit of smoke out of the nozzle, but not much. Yeah, nothing now. Yeah, it's powered up and ready. Most of what you see is just smoke residue or liquid residue burning off the heaters because the whole thing was just soaked. I washed it down with the garden hose and left it outside on a couple of 40-degree days to dry out. So now it's safe to power up, but it's just it's not very happy, so let's take it apart and see what's going on inside. I like the way it has a warning on it. Do not or never add flammable substances. You know, if it wasn't a total fire ban, I'd be tempted to try that. Okay, internally this thing's pretty straightforward, as you'd expect. You've got the main reservoir, power switching and pedal control. That's a little electromagnetic pump, like a little pulse pump. That's connected to a high pressure line that has a very stripped or cross-threaded looking nut, and that high pressure or output line, it's not really under much pressure, but it's just pushing fluid out to this manifold here, or heater block. That's just a solid lump of cast aluminium with the heating element and the tube cast into it, so there's really nothing to actually take apart in there. I could take it off, but all you'll see is just a bare cast alloy block with the heating element and the tube sticking out of it. That's it. And of course, two pressure switches, or temperature switches. There's one at the bottom there, which cuts the heating element out, and there's one up here, which goes back to the other socket. I'm guessing it's just double redundancy on temperature control. The bottom one's connected to the chassis itself, so that probably cuts it out when it's getting dangerously hot. And that one there is probably your normal thermostatic temperature control. So yeah, there's no real point in taking that out. I don't want to disturb all the fiberglass or KO wool insulation on it. But as you can see, it's just one cast piece with this tube cast into it, so I've essentially got to be able to unblock this tube for it to work. I've tried running a piece of MIG wire, really fine MIG wire, I think it's about 0.4, but it goes about, I don't know, 1.5 inches in and then stops, so I'm guessing there's a loop or a coil inside that casting. Otherwise I was hoping I'd be able to ram it all the way up here and just push any debris out through the discharge line, but it hasn't. So there must be a loop back and then out. I don't know how much time the liquid has to spend in this heating manifold to actually vaporize, but I don't imagine it would be much. And as a few people suggested, it's just like a giant electronic cigarette. An e-cig essentially is the same thing. You've got a manifold, a heating element, and it basically just contacts the e-cig juice, which is essentially, I think it's propylene glycol plus flavour and, if necessary, nicotine, and it just turns it into smoke like a smoke machine does, and yeah, you get your buzz. You could basically put e-cig juice in one of these things and get a real buzz, or probably even make yourself sick, and I would not recommend anyone do it. But either way, it works on the same principle. Heat, a non-toxic mixture of, well, propylene glycol and whatever else, flavour or chemical like nicotine, and yeah, really simple. So I'm going to take this off and just try and clean this line out and just see if it works again. There's no reason why it shouldn't work unless the pump has actually failed, but I'll also test that. I'll plug it back in again with the line off and just see if the pump will actually pump. If the pump's not pumping, then it's probably not a problem with the line, it's just that that's dead. So let's rule that out, because it would be kind of handy to have. It was given to me for whatever I want to do with it, so no obligation to strip it down. Not that there's anything to really see. You won't see much apart from cast alloy in this thing, and yeah, they're really simple. Okay, well the tube's definitely clear. I've blown air through it and it just vented a ton of smoke. but the pump is not working, so that's kind of a problem. I'm going to try and I'll remove it and see if I can free it up, because there really isn't much else to this. There's no point in ripping that apart. I'm going to keep it in one piece and we'll have some fun with it. Probably keep it just as a smoke machine for now, but it'd be interesting to see what it does with diesel through it and a pilot light in front of it. Could be potentially dangerous, especially not this time of year. Anyway, yeah, let's remove the pump and see what I can do. Okay, well the contents of the pump's pretty straightforward. That all unscrewed on its own. We've got a solenoid coil in there, essentially, and a little piston, spring-loaded piston inside the liquid side of it. It's pretty interesting. Obviously there's been some leakage probably coming down the line and getting into the housing, but it should work again. Unless the coil's actually open circuit, I might have to test the coil itself, but I'll clean this up, take this off and wash it out. I think someone said vinegar and water. Wash it out and make sure that that's all going to work, and then might be able to run it again. If not, maybe the coil's gone open circuit, but it's not that hard to replace that. There's plenty of alternatives, including compressed air. Make up a bottle and just pump it up manually, and then use a push button valve like a Festo pneumatics valve to control the flow. Okay, so the pump's fine, well, mechanically fine, but it's completely open circuit, so that answers that question, and basically concludes this one for the night. I will endeavour to do something with it. There's no real point in tearing it down anymore, because there's nothing to really see. But yeah, if I can do something with this, that'll be kind of handy. Yeah, it's a Z400 by Livingstone, sold at ALDI's, discount supermarket come junk store essentially. They just sell import junk, China stuff. Yeah, anyway, thanks to Leokimvideo for sending me this thing to play with. He's currently got another one. I think he said he had this one about 4 years and used it quite significantly, so it's had quite a lot of use. Certainly lasted a while. But again, he's got a much older, I think it's about a $1,200 machine, a much bigger machine. And obviously it kicks the crap out of these things, but these are only, I think they're about 40 bucks each. They're not very expensive, so yeah, that's what you get compared with a $1,200 professional grade smoke machine, or a very small cheap domestic one. Oh well, thanks for watching. I'll find something else to do with this, or at least find a pump that works and make it work again.